Hi everybody, and welcome to my latest video on Secrets Revealed. Parents are the best language facilitators. My name is Marcy Melzer, and I am an intuitive speech-language pathologist, and I help parents teach their late-talking children to use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world with my Waves of Communication parent coaching program. And today, I'm going to talk to you about why parents are the best language facilitators. And I'm going to do that by telling you three things. First, we're going to talk about 6 advantages that parents have over speech-language therapists. I'm going to talk to you about how parents are using these advantages to help their kids start talking faster than I ever could as a speech-language therapist. And I'm also going to tell you about the 4 things that every successful language facilitator parent has. All right, let's get started. But the first thing is 6 advantages that parents have over speech therapists. All right, the first advantage is that parents can facilitate language all the time. They start facilitating language the second their kids wake up, they do it all day whenever they see them, and they stop doing it when their kids go to sleep at night. Literally every interaction you have with your child, you can be facilitating language as a parent. Speech therapists don't obviously have the ability to work with kids this frequently. So when you work with parents all the time, you're definitely going to see fast improvement. The second advantage that parents have over speech pathologists is that they can facilitate language everywhere. So everywhere you go, in your kid's bed, in the bathtub, in the kitchen, and outside of your home too, in the car while you're waiting for parent pickup, and in the doctor's office, and in the park, and at the beach, and literally everywhere you go, you can be facilitating language. Another advantage parents have over speech pathologists is that parents can facilitate language with everybody. So it's not just your child learning how to speak with one person, a speech pathologist, or just you in your living room. You as a parent have the ability, the advantage to teach your child how to communicate with everybody, not just in your household either. Obviously, it's important that they communicate well with parents and siblings, but extended family, friends, neighbors, teachers, doctors, everybody they come encounter with, you can help them facilitate language with all of those people. Another advantage that parents have over speech pathologists is that they understand their kids best. So even if your child's not using words, they're obviously difficult to be understood by anyone potentially except you as their parent. But you pretty much always are able to figure out what's going on eventually in some way. And that's a huge advantage over anybody besides you, including a speech pathologist. Even though I'm intuitive and really good at reading people and reading their energy, it's very common for me to not understand a child that I'm observing. And their parents always seem to know what's going on, which is a huge advantage. So, parents understand their kids best, big advantage over speech pathologists. And here's another one. Kids always want to see their parents happy. I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer. If a parent's happy, the household's happy. If the parents are unhappy, the household's unhappy. And surprise, even though your child seems like they're making you miserable or even wanting to make you miserable by their behavior, those behaviors are just communication attempts. And your kids ultimately even want you to be happy about their behavior that's trying to make you miserable. This is a huge advantage with teaching your kids to be able to use language, because when you show them that you're happy with them trying at your efforts, you definitely have an advantage. And I'll tell you what, as a speech pathologist, I didn't always have kids who were innately keen on making me happy, but they always wanted to make their parents happy. Huge advantage parents have. And here's the last one. The parents can actually see the big picture. They understand their challenges, limitations, and skills. Some parents are better at facilitating language during play than others. Other parents are good at facilitating language in noisy, raucous, wild times than others. And children learn in different ways too. A lot of parents who have late talking children also have other responsibilities, so their full life can't be focused on teaching this one child how to communicate. They might have other children, they might have jobs, they might have houses to clean, or, dishes to do, things like that. So it's important that, the advantage that a parent has over a speech pathologist is they know how to evaluate the things and resources in their environment to be able to use them to their advantage, and a speech therapist can't possibly know that. So that is 6 things that parents, I'm going to find my card, 6 things that advantages that parents have over speech pathologists. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, which is very exciting for me, is how parents are actually using these advantages to help their kids start to talk faster than I could as a speech pathologist. And the best way to explain that is with a few case studies. I'm going to start with Nikki and Neil. So I saw Nikki when her son was 3 years old, and he wasn't using words, maybe 10 words to communicate things, and he was mostly using behavior to communicate his needs. He also had a lot of red flag behaviors, like avoiding, no eye contact, didn't respond to his name, and pretty much refused to try words every single time she, attempted to get him to go for it. So Nikki started using these strategies in all the different environments of her life, and she was able to get her son to start using words within 1 week, which I found really phenomenal. I mean, that was extraordinary fast compared to any of the other kids that I saw. But what happened was, the more parents who started using these strategies and started doing them across different environments also saw improvement. So here's Melissa and Colton. Melissa started working with me when her son Colton was 3 years old, diagnosed with a global developmental delay, and actually referred for genetic testing. But he also suffered from chronic ear infections, which was probably the root of his communication issues. Still, at the time that I met them, Colton was using only a single syllable to communicate most of his things, along with behaviors and gesture. And Melissa started using my strategies, and Colton too said 10 to 15 new words within the first week of working with me. And then within 4 weeks, he was using 2-word phrases to be able to communicate the things that he wanted most without a prompt. The most exciting story that I'm going to tell you, though, is about Valerie and Ally. So Valerie only started working with me about 3 weeks ago, and her daughter Ally is 4.5 years old, and she's diagnosed with autism. Ally was only using single words occasionally, mostly behavior, but even echolalic phrases to ask for the things that she wanted. She wasn't using any natural requesting, and Valerie had done everything that all the therapists told her to do, but she wasn't able to get Ally to start using these, the words that she was learning. She wasn't able to get her to start using them functionally. It was just all of this scripted language stuff. So after 1 day, this is what's phenomenal to me. After 1 day, Valerie was able to get Ally to ask for her 3 favorite things using 2-word phrases appropriately. Within the first week, Ally started asking for things independently without a prompt or without a model at all. And now it's 3 weeks later, and I just got this text from Valerie last night, and she said that Ally is using Alexa to request the videos that she loves. Ally says things like, "Alexa, play Old MacDonald," and "Alexa, play Wheels on Bus." And this is only 3 weeks into using these strategies. And I'm certain that their improvement is so fast because they're taking advantage of these advantages that parents have to be able to facilitate language more frequently and in more circumstances and with more people, and using their intuitive understanding of what their child's trying to say as tools for them. So, very exciting how those people to do. And so now I'm going to tell you basically what 4 things all of these language facilitator parents and every other successful language facilitator parent has in place to get them making these kinds of improvements. So the first thing that every language facilitator parent must have is an understanding of what motivates your child, because nobody's going to want to do anything that isn't fun and motivating, and every effort that you try really needs to be on target, what they love to do. So language facilitator parents always have a clear understanding of what motivates their child. The next thing that you need in order to become a language facilitator parent is the ability to work through your child's resistance to trying words. And this is where that intuitive part comes into play, where you actually get to where your child is and understand their base level kinds of communication in order to be able to take them systematically away from where they are now into what they're doing. So you must be able to understand and overcome what is resisting your child, what's causing them to resist to trying new words. The third thing, and this is the key, is that you have to have a systematic plan to take your child from point A to point B. You can't start throwing in strategies that are random or stuff that you read on the internet or something that even maybe worked super well for someone else. Might not necessarily work for you. Your plan has to be very systematic and able to be incorporated seamlessly into your everyday activities. So every language facilitator parent must have a systematic plan in order to be able to see these kind of changes. And the fourth, and actually the most important thing, is that you have to have a willingness to follow your plan every single day. The parents who have been successful getting their children to talk fast learn these language facilitation strategies and start using them immediately, all day, every day. This isn't a program where you're going to sit down and work on flashcards with your child for an hour a day. This is language facilitation, full-time, all the time, every day. So, those again are the 4 things that every language facilitator parent must have in place in order to see that kind of improvement. Now, what kind of parents make the fastest gains with my language facilitation plan and my Waves of Communication program? They are parents who have been successful teaching their kids some things, like how to put a cup in the sink or throw something away in the trash. So their children are able to learn from them. They just aren't really sure how to use those teaching skills to teach language yet. That's why you need a plan. The other parents that make really fast gains are parents who know their children better than anyone, and they're the ones that really key into their intuitive connection and understand both their child's messages they're trying to communicate, even with their behavior, and they also are able to, facilitate those things and mold them into understand what's causing their resistance. So, parents are also the parents who make the best gains are also willing to put in real thought and effort into their strategies and find ways to make them work seamlessly with their life. And they also need to be positive all the time with these strategies, because if it isn't fun, it isn't fun, and then nobody's going to want to stay with it and nobody's going to continue on to make it last. And the most important thing is that parents who are the most successful are the ones that are prepared to invest financially and get a plan that is custom designed and very specific for you, so that I can evaluate where your child is communicating right now and take you systematically from that point, step by step, all the way to the point where they're doing all the kinds of communicating naturally that you would love to see them do. So, your first step into be able to get a plan like that is to schedule a free language facilitation strategy session with me personally. And you can do that by clicking the link below and go into my schedule and applying for the strategy session. So, this is how you do it. Go ahead and visit the website, wavesofcommunication.com, to learn more about me. And if you're interested in booking a language facilitation strategy session and how to teach your child to use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world, this strategy session is free and there are only limited appointments available. So go ahead and click on the schedule now and learn how you can become a language facilitator yourself and teach your child to use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world and start to see improvement within the first week, just like my other language facilitator parents. Thanks for watching my video today. I really appreciate your attention, and I look forward to talking to you next time about more language facilitation information and how you can become a language facilitator yourself. Have a great day.